Alrighty folks, this is Ahskance. Hi. Doing another explanation video because that seems to be what I'm doing these days. I want to, before I go into all this, I want to give some background. Obviously, the whole CC explosion and stuff has happened. Little White Mouse left, that triggered a mass exodus, etc. Well, the reason why Little White Mouse left, the straw that broke the camel's back, as it were, was a confrontation with a dev over the stated goal of this combat mission thing for the Missouri. Because Little White Mouse knew this is going to come out, it's going to be wrong, let's all prepare for it. And she did a crowdsourcing for data on the North American forums and I don't know where else, where she had people, please go play Missouri games and put all the information here and I'll total it up and yada yada. So the patch comes out. All the people that had the Missouri when the patch dropped got a special combat mission. I didn't have the Missouri when the patch dropped. I'm a CC, so I have it now, whatever. But all the people that had that got a special combat mission that gives a plus 17% to credits. But it acts like a flag. So that doesn't interact with other flags. It just gives you 17% more, and that's it. So what's the thing here? What's going on? Well, okay, so it turns out basically Mouse raised the question. We were told this is going to interact with flags, and I can show you what that looks like. This was the question that was posed by Little White Mouse directly to the devs. Let's do an example and get a clear answer with no ambiguity. This was before the combat mission came out. This was before we had the information on what the hell the combat mission was. This is before the patch dropped. Here's the hypothetical scenario. Missouri is being used to farm credits for an earned 50 million credits mission and a dockyard event. Missouri plays very well in random battle. Said player has a premium time and earns a cool 1 million base credits. Big round number. They were using the Ocean Soul camouflage, plus 20% credit earning, along with the following signals: Zulu, Wyvern, Cilia, Basilisk, Leviathan. Under the current system, this would yield 2.65 million credits before expenses. And for that one match in their progress on the Earn 50 million credits mission, it would read 2.65 million credits out of 50. Under the new system, the base earning value drops. Instead of 1 million base credits, we're looking at something closer to 800,000. This was an estimation because we didn't have this information at the time of her making this post. So we have maybe 800,000 credits for the same battle, the same as any other tier 9 premium. With all the bonuses from signals and camouflage, our total is now 2.12 million credits, a difference of 530 million credits, based on what we're being told. A, the difference in the base credits earning is 200,000 credits in this example. However, the mission will also take into account all the bonuses that would have been received by signals and camouflage, meaning the mission, the combat mission in this example, would provide the full 530,000 credits at a minimum. Is this correct? B, the mission bonus will also apply to the dockyard task, meaning that under the new system, the player will have the minimum 2.65 million out of 50 million progress listed. Is this correct? A developer responded. That is this. Shanai, being the developer, responds, if the player earns 2.65 million credits with the old Missouri, the mission we expect that number to be around 2.75 million credits, meaning more than what the player would have earned otherwise. So, directly answering your questions, 1, yes, the player will earn not less than with the old built-in coefficient. And 2, yes, the progress of missions will also incorporate every credit earned, so in such case it would be 2.75 million out of 50 million. However, as the economics are quite complicated, we will carefully watch the outcome, and if there will be issues with these income, we will take care of it. So, Little White Mouse had asked a question. It involved camouflage. It involved credit earning flags. It involved modifiers. And the response to this question was yes. Involving those modifiers, the number will still be to the good. Okay, not only will it be to the good, but it'll potentially be even better than it used to be. Cool. Nice. She went out. I think she put forth the information. She probably had a healthy dose of skepticism that it would be working correctly when it came out. And the skepticism, I'm sure, was rewarded because that's not how it ended up coming out. So I'm going to hop into the game. I had my very first ever game in a Missouri so that I could show you a little screen here. I put on all the flags that I happen to have, although I did just use the base camo, so I guess I don't have anything there. But we have an earned. There would be a combat mission here if you were one of the previous owners of the thing, which had a plus 17. So like this says plus 20, it was 115,000 credits to be a plus 17, which would be, I don't know, 107 or something, or 100,000. And all of this gets totaled up in the total. The problem was, with this little plus 17, it was not covering the differences from what people would get before to what they're getting now. That was the issue. So she confronted the devs saying, this is a problem. This needs to be addressed. And a dev basically said, no, we didn't commit to flags and stuff and this other stuff. We just said it'll be right. To which she responds, well, it's not right. And yes, you did confirm about flags and stuff. Which is where basically the back and forth happened. She showed the pictures that I've showed you, and communication meltdown. Much anger, much rage, straw that broke the camel's back, the uproar we have now. So I've talked to the devs because I had an idea of how to make this combat mission thing act like a modifier as opposed to this little plus flaggy thing, and it ended up having a back and a forth conversation with them on the Discord. Well, with one of them. So ultimately, because it got more and more complex or felt like it just took more time, I did what I normally do, which is say, hey, rather than typing at each other, let's just talk. Which is why I'll record videos for forum responses and other stuff, because it's just easier to talk about the thing instead of typing books at each other. And that's what we did. So they hopped into Discord, and I guess I'll get to this in just a second. But first off, I want to kind of describe what the goal is. My thoughts were that if you had the credit mission and say it's a 10% modifier, so instead of earning 1 million credits, you'd earn, it'd be times 10, an extra 10% on there, so it'd be 1.1, and then all the flags would screw with that, and all the numbers would be fine, and everybody'd be happy. The long and the short of it was, the code for the credit system has been in the game for a long time, and if they dive in and start dicking with the code for the credit system, it might utterly cause some kind of bug, craziness, insanity, whatever. So they don't want to do that. They have flags already. They have missions already. They have ways that they interact with the resource and the credit stuff already. So let's just use that. But since they can't add a modifier to make it like it used to be, they decided we're just going to throw in a flat rate, and that flat rate should cover it. And if it doesn't cover it, then we'll increase the flat amount, meaning the little plus 17, like a flat increase, basically. If it doesn't cover the difference, then we'll increase it. And if it doesn't cover the difference, then we'll increase it more. And it's like, isn't that an awkward way to do this? Yes, but it works. So this means that if you play the ship and you use all the flags in the world, then at some point they're going to figure out what the number is that they have to put on there so that you're taken care of and it's not a problem. But that also means that if you don't use any flags, any camouflages, anything, that mission would still be there, still giving you that bonus amount, which would theoretically be giving you more money than you would have gotten otherwise. So in both cases, ideally, they're hitting either the mark or they're exceeding it for the people that have had the Missouri and have this combat mission thing. But why haven't they fixed that yet? Because they just put it in, and one of Wargaming's kind of hallmark trends is they wait for data. They wait for experiences to be accrued in the game so that they can pull actual hard numbers from actual situations and churn them through a computer. The problem is that Little White Mouse already had her data. She already had data from her crowdsourced stuff before the patch, and then she got data from stuff after the patch and was immediately pointing out, this shit don't add up. Why aren't you fixing this? You said it was going to be different. And then there was a conversation about, well, flags aren't really involved in this. The reason why flags aren't involved in this is because the combat mission is its own thing. And if you don't use flags at all, the combat mission should still reward you enough money that it covers even if you did use the flags. But in the translation from the thing didn't involve flags, no, I have a picture saying it did involve flags, communication breakdown, anger, rage, explosion. So let's look at some numbers. Let's try to do that. So I kind of made a little sheet to look at here. So first off, the first column, received 1 million. Kind of using the easy numbers example because who wants to do complex, crazy ass math? Combat mission. This is the old version. At least this is, the old version. So we're going to use that. And there's no combat mission because this is before 10.7. Modifier / flags plus 150%. However the hell many flags and stuff that adds up to. Don't care. Easy number. Everybody's happy. So it adds 1.5 million credits in the modifier section. Spent, negative 100. And then we have total, which is 2.4 overall. So what you made versus with what you lost equals out 2.4. Well, then we've got this current combat mission in the game as it is now. Now, I don't know the base modifier for the thing. So the 900,000 is supposition. It could be 800. It could be 850. It could be whatever. I'm just using round numbers for the sake of sanity purposes. And in this case, the numbers end up working out, but that doesn't mean that they are working out currently. So received 900,000. That's your base number. You have this combat mission-y thing that gives you plus 17%, which is plus 153. The modifiers pull off of the base received, which is 1.35 million. There's an amount spent, and it actually comes out to 2.4 million and 3,000. So in that case, it works. But what if you could have more flags? What if you could have a better credit making camo? What if you could have something where the modifiers number ends up being wrong and it's not enough? Well, what will end up happening is if this 17% is enough, they'll kick it up to 20. If 20 isn't enough, they'll kick it up to 23. If 23 isn't enough, they kick it up to 26. They kick it up to whatever the hell they have to do to make it work. And ultimately, let's say they kicked it up to whatever the magic number is to make 250,000 credits here. Okay, so we have that same game, 900,000 base. 250 comes from the credit mission because it's a plus 23 or whatever the hell number it is. Plus 27 probably if it's that. Modifiers, you're getting the stuff spent, you spend the stuff, total, it comes out to a number. Awesome. Now that's with flags. So in this instance, you still are making more money than you used to make, assuming you've got this combat mission thing. Well, what if you don't use flags? If you don't use flags, this number doesn't change. This number is still there every single time you play. Flag or no flag, camo or no camo, anything, whatever. This number will stay as it is, always. So the fact that there's a 0 in the flag column doesn't mean anything because this number acts independently of flags and camos and modifiers and all that crap. It just exists. So in the old version, if you had a game where you had no flags, and you made 1 million base credits, and this was 0, then you'd make 900,000 at the end, because there was no combat mission in the old version. You didn't use any flags in the old comp version, in this example I'm giving you, spent whatever, so it's 900,000. The new version, this is your base, and this is the combat mission. There's no flags used, they're spent, and you end up coming out with 1.05. So because this will exist always and will be set to a number that works for if you use flags or don't use flags, then theoretically the player should always come out to the good. This was the commitment that was made to me in a voice chat, explaining the situation, explaining what they meant to say when they said what they said. and why the communication broke down. So I'm trying to now put it out in long form to give you a very understanding kind of presentation, and I hope that helps. It sucks that this was the straw that broke the camel's back, but Wargaming's fucked up a lot. There's been a lot of shit going down in the last week or 2 weeks or 3 or whatever, so the world exploded. But in terms of this has been committed to, and if this is not met, if this commitment does not get met by Wargaming, then community contributors, people on the forum, players, etc., we have to make sure that they know you have to meet this obligation because you made this obligation. So remember this, understand this, and let's make sure that it happens to make sure that it gets done. So this is Ahskance. Have a good one.